Hi everyone. So today I'm going to be talking about integrating art and science. I'm going to do this by exploring my batiks that I made, the articles that I read, making some connections to how I want to integrate this into my own classroom, and then talking about one of my favorite paleo artists, Rachel. So this is the initial batik exploration that I did. This was on cotton, but they're normally on silk. Batiks are made by using a wax, or in our case, resist, and the wax fills in the space between the fiber molecules and doesn't allow the dye to penetrate there. What this type of dye and this type of fabric did was it made a covalent bond, which is one of the most common types of bonds between two atoms. This is what happens with the dyes that are slightly acidic and want to bond to fabrics that have free basic molecules. So in our case, silk. So certain fabrics have an amide group, and this is just a particular group of molecules containing a carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and one other element. These groups are often basic, and therefore they're attracted to the acid of the fabric because it wants to neutralize it. Acidic dyes contain acid groups, and these form attractions to the slightly basic NH groups in fabrics like wool, silk, nylon, which is what we're seeing here. So here's a picture of the Grand Canyon, which I took a little while ago, which inspired this batik, my macro batik. And then I took that idea and jumped off of it. And this here you can see on the left is my batik, and then on the right is the image that I based it off on, which is the mica schist from the Precambrian basement rock of the Grand Canyon. So now let's jump into the articles I read. This one was from some authors in Andrea Burroughs, and they talked about this exact lesson being applied as a way to teach art integration. So they noticed that there's a gap in literature and practice of how science and art complement each other. No one's really talking about it. They are now, but in the past they haven't. And so this was a study of pre-service teachers participating in art and science integration using batiks. They encourage pre-service teachers to explore integrated disciplines, and as structures can use integrated units to produce open-mindedness of pre-service teachers to including integrated STEM and art lessons in the future. The second article I read was using creativity from art and engineering to engage students in science. So teachers can use creative projects as a way to gain access to students' ideas before science content is taught. Teachers can also use art as a way for students to express their understanding of science content. I can see this being done in my own classroom, teaching something like the water cycle, where kids can really get creative in how they want to interpret that and show that, depending if they want to do a diorama or they want to paint it. They could do a batik. There's a lot of different options for how they can do that. Another example is students creating a cartoon or a comic strip to explore scientific concepts. So I could see myself using this in my own classroom a lot, actually, because science and art are both human attempts at understanding and describing the world around us. So science and art aren't two different things. They're exploring the same thing with different methods. I want to be able to encourage my students to draw what they see or what they're trying to explain. I can also see using art as a way to explore a phenomenon similar to how we did in this class. And then using art to demonstrate learning. Honestly, this is the biggest part of geology. Almost everything I had in college, we had to draw, and we mapped, and we did cross sections, and you draw what you see. Art is such a huge part of the earth sciences because it's one of the best ways to interpret what you see. And finally, I'm talking real quick in my last little bit about Rachel from he's a paleo artist, and my previous boss called him a scientific surrealist. His art, while often paleontological, is infused with the rest of life. His images, extinct animals, visit the modern world and daydreams as if our crumb had traveled back to the Cretaceous. So Rachel did a book with Kirk Johnson from the Smithsonian, the Denver Museum of Nature and Science, to explore the fossilized past. Troll used these images of past lives of the animals and brings them into present day. Troll whimsically designs Troll's whimsical design style brings wonder to his science drawings and gives viewers an opportunity to imagine life like 60 million years ago.